Welcome back, everyone. We're actually quite on time with respect to the timing that we had set out for things, which is fabulous. We are now excited to bring you the 2022 Library Awards to honor the outstanding work being done by our members and by libraries across the province. Our first award of the evening is the Young Adult and Children's Services section, recognizing exceptional service. And I'd like to welcome Kate Wood, former president of the, or I guess not, president of the YACS Award Committee, who will be presenting the award. I shouldn't go off script here.
Okay, hello. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. I'm actually the president of YACS. I am not part of the committee. The YACS Award Committee is made up of Catherine Parker, Ashley Matcham, Ginny Dunhill, Rudy Patel, and Karen Sharkey. Unfortunately, none of them were able to be here this evening. So it's my distinct pleasure to present the YACS Award. To give everyone a bit of background, the YACS Award was established in 2012 to recognize exceptional service in the area of children's or teen librarianship in British Columbia. The Young Adult and Children's Services Award invites nominations of librarians, library technicians, teacher librarians, and others who have, as individuals or teams, demonstrated exceptional dedication in such areas as commitment to quality service to children's, teens, caregivers, and supporting organizations, collaboration and partnerships with their community, promotion of family literacy, innovation and creativity applied to the benefit of young people. So this year's award winner was nominated by Natalie Porter, and the winner is Sonia Zagwin. I'm very concerned I said that incorrectly. No, I got it right. Okay, great. So Sonia, the nomination that came from Natalie said that she's demonstrated exceptional dedication to children and families above and beyond expectations. In 2021, her focus was directed towards reconciliation, awareness of our natural environment, and acknowledging diversity in history in a fun, celebratory way that promoted literacy and learning. And from my personal experience, not knowing Sonia very well, but reading about all of the amazing things that she's been doing at her library system in Powell River is incredible and so inspiring. One thing that really spoke to me as part of her reconciliation work is that she approached her local Indigenous group and went beyond just doing a territorial acknowledgement in story time. She actually received permission to do a special land acknowledgement and special introduction at every story time. So she's really demonstrated going above and beyond and how important reconciliation is for all of us in the library community. Just to break it down really quickly, other initiatives that she's done include bringing fish row into the library so that kids could come in and see them grow up, which was so cool and inspiring to me. She also did some beautiful displays, partnered with Connie Smudge, who many of you will be familiar with from the BCLA conference, to do a drag story time. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So a very well-deserved award. Congratulations, Sonia. And I'm just so impressed with everything that you've done. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. I guess I'm supposed to say something for a few minutes, I gather. I've got first off, just thank you to Natalie. My nomination was a big surprise, and then also thanks to the YACS committee for selecting me. I've worked in libraries for almost 25 years now, in various roles and capacities and durations. And now almost 10 years as a coordinator of programs at the Powell River Public Library. And I just want to acknowledge in accepting this award, what a privilege it's been to be able to engage with, families and preschoolers and young people in my community in this role. To connect and be a connector for diverse community groups and members. And I think I don't know, maybe not for those of us who work in libraries, but I think it's kind of possible to view this kind of engagement as low stakes. But I also believe that libraries and what we offer can be incredibly impactful on individual lives, as well as the communities we serve as a whole. And so there's a responsibility to engage and be engaged with our patrons and communities, not only in feel-good ways, I think, but also in ways that provoke learning and discussion on topics such as reconciliation. So yeah, I guess in the spirit of being a lifelong learner, and being engaged and curious and humble and also generous. I think libraries are inherently really generous. We share a lot. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, and congratulations, Sonia. You'll see there's a wide variety of claps in the going up through the chat field there for you. Our next award is the BCLA Award. The British Columbia Library Association Section Outstanding Contribution Award is presented to an individual or team whose professional achievements have made a great difference to students, faculty, or colleagues. So here to present the award is Sajni Lacey, who's the outgoing chair of BCLA.
Thanks, Todd. So as Todd mentioned, the BC Academic Library's Outstanding Contribution Award is presented to someone who works in an academic library, and that can be as a team or a specific person whose professional achievements have made a real difference to students, faculty, or colleagues throughout British Columbia through a demonstrated impact through collaboration and inspiring the profession through their practice and or research. So I'm very excited to announce that Pia Russell is the winner of the 2022 BCLA's Outstanding Award contribution. So I'll just say a little bit about Pia from her nomination package. Pia was the principal investigator and project lead of the British Columbia Historical Textbooks Project. And some of the highlights spoken to about that project, and Pia overall as a lovely human is the inspiration that Pia took from the words of the Honorable Justice Murray Sinclair and the decades of exclusionary and biased curriculum within the Canadian school system, and the leadership and guidance that Pia really demonstrated through such a long multi-term and multi-year project. Some other highlights were how much Pia's work has been informed by her continued and extensive graduate work, including 3 master's degrees and her current doctoral research, which has supported this work at the University of Victoria within British Columbia and in the larger Canadian library community. The adjudication committee was particularly taken with some of the sharing that happened around the work with school districts at conferences and just overall within her community. So a big congratulations to Pia and a thank you to our adjudication committee. And yeah, so I'll pass it back.
Well, thanks so much, Sajni. It's really been a pleasure to get to know you through the BCLA. Like the BCLA and our professional associations are so important because we get to meet people like Sajni, despite geographical distances. It's really important that we can connect and support one another as colleagues wherever we are. So thank you so much. I'm really sorry to not be able to join you all this evening at the AGM. I'm currently living in Stalo Homelands, where I'm conducting fieldwork research at the Stalo Research and Resource Management Center as part of my PhD studies. So greetings from Chilliwack. This evening there's a cultural event that I should not decline participating in. It's an interesting moment to accept this award. Thank you so much. It's an interesting time to accept it from this place. This is the Longhouse here behind me here, and yeah, there's more of a story I wish I could tell you a bit. But working with the Stalo Nation to do collaborative community-based research really affirms for me the importance of our work in libraries and in the GLAM sector more broadly. So for example, the Stalo Research Center's in-house library and archives provide essential collections and services that are used to prepare for treaty negotiations, fishing rights, and cultural heritage advocacy, for example. So every book that's cataloged and every reference question that's answered by the library and archives staff directly improves the lives of Stalo people. And as library workers, our day-to-day efforts really have an impact over the long term. I've been a librarian for over 20 years, and throughout my career, I've seen many issues and trends come and go, but nothing has impacted me more profoundly than the TRC. I feel so strongly called to support the work of decolonization, resurgence, and reconciliation. And as my colleague Ryan Moran says, librarians and archivists can serve as righteous truth warriors. Our professional skills organizations and associations, just like the BCLA, are uniquely positioned to respond to this urgency. I'm a non-Indigenous researcher, and our Indigenous colleagues, neighbors, friends cannot and should not do this work alone. Our profession can support the capacity needed to realize a more just and caring future, whether through conducting research, building collections, providing safe spaces through story time, and organizing summer reading clubs. Libraries really matter. The potential of our impact is enormous. And it's a challenging but exciting time to work in libraries. Much of our profession does change, but a lot of it remains steadfast. Despite technological changes, the protection and sharing of knowledge are core principles that endure across time and space. Thank you so much for this award. I'm truly honored and grateful. Thank you to my many colleagues at UVic, particularly Chowinis, Christine Ball, Lisa Petrochenko, Rai Moran, Aditi Gupta, and Jessica Muzzle, as well as my many library friends and colleagues across the province, who I'm grateful to know. I consider BCLA as my professional home. So to be recognized within it is a real career highlight. I extend my very heartfelt thank you to you all. Aichka.
Well, congratulations to you, Pia. Wonderful as always, and always full of such sage words. It is really unfortunate she was unable to join us here tonight, but such a great, gracious response from her. Our next award is the BC Summer Reading Club Community Story Award. Each year, the BC Summer Reading Club presents this award to an individual whose story best demonstrates the impact of the Summer Reading Club within their community. So here to present the award is the provincial coordinator of the BC Summer Reading Club, Stephanie Escher.
Todd. So this year's winning story is by Mel Edgar of the Powell River Public Library. The BC Summer Reading Club is proud to celebrate the incredible work that library staff across the province do to make BC SRC possible for their communities. And the Community Story Award allows us to honor this hard work and the more nuanced moments and victories that do not get captured in library reports and statistics. And so this year's story certainly did just that. So when we received our nominations last year, I had to double take when I opened one particular entry. Certainly what I saw was not a pair of underwear being held up high, but it certainly was. Mel and the Powell River Public Library found the ultimate way to bring kids of all ages in their community together for an outdoor summer-long program called Plant Your Undies. The library collaborated with their local community garden, as well as they used experiments created by the Soil Conservation Council of Canada and had Powell River's children create hypotheses and plant underwear to see how long it would take for them to disappear. This program not only took our mystery theme, Crack the Case, to the next level, it combined community connection, the outdoors, STEM learning, and humor all in one fun summer program. So if you haven't had a chance to read the story, please do go to the BCSRC site to give it a read. It's an absolute hoot. And also, Mel has aptly been nicknamed the Underwear Lady by her community. And we are so honored to have her here this evening to accept the BCSRC Community Story Award. And I'm going to invite her to share some words.
Thanks, Stephanie. That was a really great. I don't need to say anything. You said it all. Thank you, everybody. It's so wonderful to be here among so many amazing colleagues doing good and important work. And it's been a really challenging last few years. So, PRPL's mission is to provide equitable opportunities for growth, literacy, exploration, and connection. And that really matches really well with the Summer Reading Club's, one of their goals, many goals of the Summer Reading Club, is to engage children in fun-free summer programming that supports literacy and literate citizenship. And Powell River, among many challenges we had last year, was we also had a surprise library waterfall. And so being able to toggle quickly to have a pop-up library so we could deliver Summer Reading Club packages and also just have a fun program to connect with our community. And I can say that it was really fun to be an underwear lady and to send underwear themed emails to our community groups. So Ron Berzan from Blueberry Commons and Sycamore Commons, who was great when I was trying to communicate what we were doing to the newspaper. I could call him up and like, I need an underwear quote, Ron. And, you know, he speculated about underwear trees, and it was just like a really fun activity. And also thanks to Chloe Gruenhag, our summer reading club student assistant, who just basically, you know, she entered a very shrouded in plastic, recovering from a flood workplace, and she just hit the ground running and put her dog in a lab coat and made these great videos. And yeah, we had a lot of really positive response. So, you know, and to Jim Tokarczuk, who is the ED of the Soil Conservation Council of Canada, who has your hookup for extra large Stanfield undies if you want to do this program. So yeah, it's just really, and you know, working with Sonia, who is I share an office with, you know, she said that this activity is really great in making the invisible world of what lives in the soil visible. And so, you know, kids really connected with that when they pulled the underwear out and it disappeared. They really had questions, and you know, just to see the fire of the imagination, it was a great opportunity. I feel really lucky and privileged to be able to do that. So thank you, and also for the white gloves that came with my with my award. What a treat! Thank you so much, everybody. I'm honored.
From white underwear to white gloves, it's just so there's a certain pattern here. I've had an opportunity to have a look at the videos. They are absolutely hilarious and outstanding. What a great creative idea, Mel. Congratulations for that. Our next award we'd like to present is the BCLA Champion of Intellectual Freedom Award. It's given to an individual or organization that demonstrates significant advancement in intellectual freedom in the public realm for the benefit of British Columbians. So to introduce this year's champions, I'd like to welcome Christine Wald.
Thanks so much, Todd. Good evening, everyone from the beautiful lands of Lekwungen Territory, where the University of Victoria stands. As the Grants and Awards librarian at UVic Libraries, my job is to support and enhance the research activities and community engagement priorities of UVic Libraries, specifically in the areas of grants, funding, and awards, including special projects related to community engagement. But it's also about building relationships, supporting the research of my colleagues, and creating a difference. I remember the day I first learned about the BC Historical Textbooks Project. I attended a public presentation Pia gave in the lower level of the library, which introduced faculty, staff, librarians, and interested members of the public to the Textbooks Project. I know this because on December 6th, 2018, I posted a picture on my Instagram account of some marginalia from the British Columbia Fourth Reader. And that picture was of John Greenleaf Whittier, who was actually given a folded blue paper hat, which was adorned with X's, and his eyes blacked out by pencil marks shaded in a leaden circle. Just one example of many marks contained within the textbook project. But it was simultaneously a fascinating and terrifying presentation in which we learned about these unique artifacts of our province's history, while also confronting the racism, misogyny, and oppressive colonial worldviews that have systematically been taught for decades. Since that presentation, I've helped Pia with many grant applications towards the textbook project, including the successful Shirk Insight Grant, which was a first for us here at UVic Libraries for a librarian, but also with her continuing dedication and commitment to the project and her keen ability to bring others into the decolonizing work she is doing to educate us all about our colonial pasts is simply exemplary and has tremendous societal impact. Her work in community inspires and continues to inspire in so many ways through the textbook project. Pia, I think, has directly contributed to what the idea of a library is in our society and what our responsibilities and commitments are to knowledge, to preservation and truth in an age of fake news and disinformation. A thinker, an analyzer, an innovator, a dreamer, and a doer, Pia is a tireless advocate for the educational role of libraries as unique spaces for transformational learning. She's an important ally and ardent supporter of Indigenous rights, Indigenous-led education, and Indigenous sovereignty. And as demonstrated by her previous award, she's also committed to truth and reconciliation and decolonizing her practice as a librarian. She truly is extraordinary in so many ways, and she is a trusted and treasured colleague and friend to many, both at UVic and within BC and to the larger Canadian library community. On behalf of all my colleagues at UVic Libraries, it's my sincere honor and pleasure to introduce her and congratulate her on this prestigious award. My sincere thanks to the Adjudication Committee and to BCLA for recognizing Pia Russell for this award. Thank you.
Hi again. It's a bit embarrassing to be speaking twice this evening. Thanks, Christine. Your collegiality and friendship is something I really value. Good colleagues make our work rewarding. And when you start with good relations, great work is guaranteed, I think. I'm so pleased to accept this award on behalf of the British Columbia Historical Textbooks team. Our team really hopes that over the long run, our work will benefit British Columbians as we embark on individual and collective paths of reconciliation. British Columbia's history needs a lot of critical reflection. So for such a young political entity, its history is remarkably fraught. Our province is a beautiful place, but it's also a very violent place. And this history has been largely omitted from our educational systems. So critically reading textbooks is one way to start better understanding this complicated place that we call home and imagining what it means to be a British Columbian in the past, in the present, but also in the future. Our research team aims to engage this work by decolonizing our shared historical consciousness, one textbook at a time. I'm frequently asked to present on this project to schools and retiree groups because settler society is slowly starting to see that the history we were taught is not the full truth. And so in this image behind me is the research center I mentioned before, that you can't quite see, but right here is a pile of rubble, which is the former Kolkwalitsa Industrial School and hospital. So things are starting to slowly change, and the history is starting to become more real to people, and people are starting to see the truth in our history a little bit more. We've got a long way to go. So phase one of our work focuses on all the school books required for use in BC public and high schools between 1871 and 1921. So from when BC joins the Confederation of the Canadian State to the end of the Great War. And it's a remarkable time to study because it's when the province is building a sense of what it is and what it wants to become, but also to determine who it does and does not include. During these first 50 years, the number of pupils in BC schools goes from about just over 1,000 to over 85,000. It's an astonishing pace of growth where settler colonialism is at its core and children are active agents in this process, quite unbeknownst to themselves. The textbooks that these hundreds of thousands of future citizens would read informs a shared provincial identity for better and for worse. To complete this work, we've brought together an exceptional team, and the Social Science and Humanities Research Council has provided considerable funding, as has UVic Libraries, and particularly our university librarians, so I thank them all. My supportive UVic colleagues are many, and this work would not be possible without them, not to mention nearly as fun. We have a lot of fun together too. We have excellent faculty co-researchers from across campus who challenge us to ask important questions about power and rights. Our Indigenous knowledge keepers guide our work to ensure we keep on track in good ways. But most importantly, I'd like to highlight the vital role our student researchers and interns play in moving this work forward. Research progress is less about media interviews and awards, so thank you very much for this. It's a lot more about the day-to-day processing of books, researching in the archives, searching, reading, encoding, writing, and just dialoguing, having conversations. And this is only made possible by our team of remarkable students like Chloe Kitt, Emily Stremmel, Gord Lyle, and dozens more over the years. Many who go on to library school and to professional work as curators and historians all across the country doing really important work. So over my 2 decades in libraries, I've mentored many practicum students, interns, and research assistants. And while they hopefully learn something from me, I certainly learn far more from them. I'm so grateful that this award can be shared with them to recognize the essential impact that they've made, realizing the success of the BC Historical Textbooks Project at UVic Libraries. So thank you so much. I cannot wait to tell them about this evening and ensure that they put this award on their CVs. Thanks everyone, have a good evening.
Again, a huge congratulations out to the BC Historical Textbook Project for their significant work and its impact that's happening all across the province. Our next award is the Building Better Communities Award, which is for an individual or organization responsible for increasing the relevancy and impact of library service through partnership, collaboration, and building trust where little had previously existed. So here to present the award is Bevan Heath Ansley.
Thank you, Todd. And what wonderful stories I'm hearing from all of you. It's I'm going to touch on it when I speak about Elizabeth. As a past chair of the Whistler Public Library Board, I'm absolutely delighted to present Elizabeth and the Whistler Public Library with this award. When I wrote the nomination, I was nominating actually Elizabeth for this award as personal award, but in true great leadership style, Elizabeth will only accept it if it's for the whole team. And so the award is actually presented to the Whistler Public Library team. I'm going to take just a few minutes to touch on the subject of leadership because it takes a captain of the ship to guide the good things that happen. And this is what we have experienced with Elizabeth as captain of the ship that is called Whistler Public Library. My favorite author and speaker on organizational leadership is Dr. Margaret Wheatley. She writes prolifically about creating more capable, harmonious, creative, and generous organizations and communities. Her simple motto for her institute is, whatever the problem, community is the answer. This is what I and our board know and see of Elizabeth in action. She has a very clear understanding of the importance of connecting with the community, and that understanding is apparent in all that she does. This is why we saw her as the perfect recipient of the BCLA Building Better Communities Award, and we're so glad the nominating committee concurred, and thank you. If I can take one more of my minutes to talk more about Elizabeth's impact in this Whistler community. Her impact has been immense, moving the library organizationally into a participative, self-organizing, capable, harmonious, and creative organization, utilizing processes which engage people's best capacities to learn and adapt. During her time, Whistler Public Library even won the Chamber of Commerce's Whistler's Excellence Award in Customer Service, which is a pretty odd thing for a library to win, but very deserving. One of the highlights for me was her collaborative and creative building of a 2-page, not the ones I knew in corporate life, many, many pages, strategic plan, totally designed to enrich community life. Elizabeth's leadership qualities internally and externally of the library have shone again and again. I'm sure many of you have heard that WPL is losing Elizabeth, which we haven't fully come to grips with, but we're very excited for her in her new role. What she leaves us with will last and grow and set such an incredible foundation for our library in our community, our living room. Not the least of which is remembering her habit that whatever the problem, community is the answer. Thank you, BCLA, for recognizing such a contribution in our BC. And thank you, Elizabeth. I am thrilled to present you with this well-deserved award.
Good evening from the shared unceded territory of the Squamish and Lillooet Nations. Thank you, Bevan, for your kind words, and to the board for taking the time to recognize this particular and very meaningful part of our work. Oh, all the most beneficial achievements, finding the road to ongoing and sustainable outreach services at the library, as well as providing an emergency shelter, were initiatives with many moving parts, fueled by a group of passionate big thinkers. Increasing the relevancy of and impact of the library services has just been a wonderful bonus outcome of this work. There is no way that I could receive this award without acknowledging Nadine White, Public Services Librarian. Anyone who knows Nadine realizes she is compassionate to her core, and most particularly with members of our community who are vulnerable and struggling. Over the years, she has gone the extra mile to ensure that the library holds a space as a central place for service providers to connect with the community through a low stigma, low barrier space. I would also like to recognize the extraordinary efforts of Ryan Donahue and Carrie Hanna of the Resort Municipality of Whistler's Emergency Services team for finding the essential funding to make this work possible and incorporating the library as a place that is core in supporting emergency preparedness in our community. Central to making this magic happen has been Jackie Dickinson and her team from Whistler Community Services Society with their collaborative spirit, always entrusting our team and facility to be an extension of their essential outreach roles in Whistler. I would also say the same of our partners at Work BC, Sea to Sky Community Services, Whistler Women's Center, and Whistler's Welcome Center. Finally, none of this would have been possible without the trust and support of our board, municipal senior management, and Whistler's excellent council. On behalf of everyone involved, I thank BCLA and the nominations committee for this incredible honor. Thank you.
Congratulations, Elizabeth, and certainly to all of your colleagues at the Whistler Public Library. Fabulous work that you're doing up there. It's our final award now. It's the BCLA Eureka Award. This award is given to an individual or organization that has created an innovative approach to address a barrier, solve a problem, provide a powerful new insight, or introduce an original idea in the library field. This is an award for thinkers, analyzers, innovators, dreamers, and doers. Here to present the 2022 winner of the Eureka Award is Sybil Harrison.
Thank you, Todd. I'm just so thrilled to be here this evening to present the Eureka Award to my colleague, Robin Lanning, for Camosun College's Going with the Flow, a menstrual equity project. I can't imagine a more deserving person or a more appropriate award for this project, as it's been a series of Eurekas. Robin's initiative, Eureka is one of those words that needs to be written and said, and I've got my little handout since we're not here, an exclamation mark. It's an exclamation to share with enthusiasm when something new is learned, experienced, or discovered. Robin's initiative led to a series of Eurekas, exclamation mark, for me, our library team, and the community we serve. This project started as a casual conversation when Robin suggested that access to free menstrual products was an equity issue, and that for some students, lack of access to menstrual products could be a barrier to their success. My first Eureka moment. We then started talking about why providing free products in the library was a library service as necessary as our space and resources. Eureka. The library is a trusted place on campus. It was the obvious place to start this college initiative. Yet again, another Eureka moment. Then she pointed out to me that all washrooms, not just those ones designated as women's, needed products. Eureka. And then I'm a woman of a certain age, and I was socialized to never talk about menstruation, especially not at work. Saying the word menstruation and alongside with equity at my senior leadership meeting with those colleagues was a powerful, powerful Eureka moment for me. I began seeing that breaking down stigma around menstruation was as important as the service itself. Eureka. I then learned from Robin that the type of product we provide is as important it should be organic, sustainable, not the cheapest things on the marketplace. Another Eureka. And then learning that Get Joni, an amazing Victoria-based company, wanted to partner with Camosun so we could expand this program to both of our campus and to a number of buildings was the most recent Eureka moment for me. Earlier this year, I met with a group of students about the Going with the Flow project. Listening to their stories about how impactful this initiative has been for them was my final Eureka moment. That Eureka was that Robin Lanning and this project is most deserving of this award. So it's with deep gratitude to Robin for all of those Eureka moments that I present her this award. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you so much, Sybil. Just before I start, I want to acknowledge and give thanks that I'm coming to you today from Lekwungen territory. Thank you, Sybil. Thank you to the BCLA Awards Committee. I'm honored to be the recipient of the BCLA Eureka Award tonight. For me, the Going with the Flow project represents Camosun Library's ongoing work to create a brave and inclusive space that supports the well-being of the whole student. So the project was designed to recognize the intersecting identities and complex needs of all those who make up our library and our campus communities. It's an absolute dream for me to be acknowledged for creating discussion and reducing stigma around menstruation and increasing understanding and support for menstruating people, addressing the financial impact menstrual inequity makes on education and reducing these barriers for Camosun students, bringing social justice and environmental lenses to our facilities and the ways in which we do business, championing the integral relationships between physical and mental health, inclusion and accessibility, and educational success. Not to mention being known on campus as the tampon lady, but now I know that I am in really great company with Mel as the underwear lady, so that is fantastic. This award is the result of the work of many. Without Sybil Harrison's ongoing sponsorship and support, the daily work of facility services and the library's frontline team. So a special shout out to Annette Hansen, Evan Hilche's game-changing financial commitment, the inspiring team at Joni, and Camosun students and student society, there would be no Going with the Flow. Much gratitude to my husband, Greg, who supports everything I do and is off camera here. He should be an honorary librarian by now. And I wanted to thank all of the members of the Maxi Pad Underground, and you know who you are. Some of you here tonight may be members. They are the employees and the instructors who have been providing clandestine menstrual products to students in need for many, many years. So your work is done and we are out of the shadows now. So thank you, and thank you so much for this incredible honor.
Congratulations, Robin, on such a groundbreaking project that you've been able to do, and one that many of us will be able to take and apply within our own organizations. It's just so brilliant that you're able to have got that started at Camosun. And I can only imagine what the world would be able to handle were the underwear lady and the tampon lady to ever meet and devise a project, another project, which I'm sure would be very unique. So this brings us to the end of our 2022 BC Library Association Awards. We look forward to seeing everybody in 2023, where we will be presenting the awards in person at the BC Library Conference. So congratulations once again to all the award winners. A recording of the awards will be posted to the BCLA YouTube account if you would like to rewatch or share the recording. Thanks again, everyone, and good night.